I love it. I would invite anybody, everybody in the city of Flint to come to the McCree Theater before the last performance and enjoy the show. It's so energetic.
Come join us at the new McCree Theater.
Welcome to the After Hours Print Shop, located in the Floyd J. McCree Theater building at 4601 Clio Road, Flint, Michigan. A minority-owned printing service in your own backyard. Printing, faxing, copying, laminating, and notary services. For more information, contact the After Hours Print Shop. That number is 810-820-3948. They have a grand opening special of 10% off all first orders. Real Talk with Karen Weaver, and I am here with my special guest, my councilwoman, the one that I call when things happen to us in our neighborhood. I know I don't live in the 6th Ward, but I call Tonya Burns, and I want to say thank you. Really, I'm gonna be serious for a little bit.
Okay, we were just laughing.
I know,
so it's hard.
I know because I've been calling you that for such a long time. But you see, I'm wearing this shirt.
I love that.
Black Women Matter, and it's Women's History Month.
And it says dope.
That's right.
I love
because
that.
that's what we are.
We're dope.
That's right. And you've been showing people how dope you are.
Oh, that's
And it's Women's History Month, and I want to talk to some women. And I said, I got to get Tonya Burns on here and just really say thank you for your service. Let's start with that. Thank you for your service.
And thank you for your continued service.
Well, we do what we do.
You do because
you're in the thick of it. We're going to talk about that in
Yeah.
a little bit. But because, what I was thinking about was a lot of just let's talk for a minute before we get into some stuff, because I saw you last night. We're going to talk about that and some other stuff. But before we get into it, because it is Women's History Month, I think one of the things we need to do is acknowledge women in the community that are doing it, that are speaking up, standing up, fighting for us, and not scared. Being a public servant and not serving yourself, serving the public all over. And that's why I say that as far as calling you my councilwoman, because when I do have issues, she knows I call her.
Yeah, you and your husband. No, and your daughter.
I was going to say, you stopped a little quick time. You stopped a little quick. But since it's Women's History Month, we're going to start by, let's hear a little bit about you first. Because have you ever been elected before?
No, this is my first term.
Okay, so what inspired you to do this?
Yeah, I think some is genetics going back, because I think that I go back to my grandmother and he was my great grandfather, which was actually he was a mayor of a town down south.
Okay.
And so that was during Reconstruction.
Isn't that something?
Right. And so, some things
some stuff just in your DNA.
It's just in your DNA.
And it doesn't matter how far.
Right. It doesn't. And for me, it was always to serve. You can start in elementary. I was on everything there was to be student council. I was a hall guard, crossing guard.
All of that.
Yeah, I did. We had stepping stones. I was always involved.
Stepping stones. I was a hall guard too.
Yeah, love the hall guard.
Something.
Stop.
That's
Walk. Oh, you know what? Now I will, as Carol, I will murder a hit. I will murder a hit.
A lot of people didn't know that. about you. That's just something that's in you.
You know, my mother sent, I was going through a box because she still had, and it was funny, she had my my student council certificate that was still in the frame. And she's going to be looking to sell her house as she's getting older. She doesn't need a home that's as big as it is. And I was like, oh God, you look at
You
that.
were doing that.
I cared about people and
Right.
cared about structure and cared about, our schools. I went to Pierce School.
Okay.
That's the school in your area. And Flint schools were they were a pilot program.
Yeah.
It was it was different. We had you could play instruments, sports. You didn't have to have money to do to go to school.
Right.
To play these
because
things.
Well, but we had that wonderful community education
We
system
did that they're taking away from us now.
That they're taking away.
Because I played the violin poorly. I stopped though, and then I played the flute. I was the last chair.
Okay.
I had goals. Then my daughter played the flute, and she was always first chair. She's a flutist.
Okay.
I was the last chairist.
Look, I played the violin, and when you would have to try out, yes, you'd have to try out for the chairs,
Right.
And they thought I was doing vibrato, and it wasn't. I was nervous. I was just shaking.
You was,
she knows vibrato.
she knows what she's doing.
No, I don't.
This is nervous.
Right. I was just nervous, but I just wondered what led you to do that. So when you saw what your mother had, did you think you would be where you are? Did you think it would lead to what you're doing?
I remember my first house that I bought, and I was in the city of Flint, and I lived on Castle Lane. Me and my husband, our first house. And I'm like, God, would I ever be in government? I had 2 little kids. I had a baby. He's 29.
Okay.
And I was like, would I ever get in government? I had gotten mad with the garbage people because they wouldn't pick up the garbage. That's when they were like, this bag way too much. And they would take the time to tag your garbage and not just throw it up. And I'm like, these bags aren't that heavy. And so I got pissed.
So you did you call them, or did
I went down there?
I went down there.
I went down there, and then as I got, things changed, and I remember going down there. I believe Walling was the mayor then, and I went down there because they were stopping me from doing things. They were like picking on me as a black. I didn't need your money at that time, and Buchanan was the building inspector, and he had to write me in. They were there when you were there, actually. God, his name started with Z, but he had to give me an apology.
Okay.
But I think that the mistreatment of Black women, it bothered me.
That's what I was just getting ready to talk about.
Yeah.
It was the mistreatment of Black women.
It was the mistreatment, and they were trying to get me to do something when I knew fire code. People probably don't know that I, design fire systems. I've done that, and suppression systems and alarms and cameras. And so when they were telling me something that I needed, I knew that I did not need it, but it was just, I think it was a kickback system. It was a kickback system because even when I had the roofer there, and it was, they were, and that's what really, because if it happened to me, and at that time my money was real good, before I got sick, and I was like, if it's happening to me, it could happen to anybody, and everyone can't speak up for themselves.
No,
they can't.
No, they just can't.
And it was a good old boys network.
It still is.
Yeah, it still is.
I mean, because you think about it, we couldn't, when you look at what happened with the presidential race.
Oh my God.
And I wondered about that because I remember when Hillary Clinton ran, and I said, if you can't get a white lady and a white woman,
how we
gonna get, but I was gonna try.
Right.
I was gonna try. I sure did. Sure did. And if you didn't, well, anyway, we see where we are.
Look, Black women did their job 92%.
We sure did. We did our job. We understood the assignment. We understood the assignment.
We did.
So,
yeah.
Because we're getting ready to talk about something. Hey, Philip, we are. Hey.
Says good evening, ladies.
I sign you.
Nevada, Mayor Weaver and Council Burns, good evening. It's on the YouTube side. Sheena Beckton said, yeah, 2 of my faves. So Johnson
I'm
said
glad
they used to
Sheena.
have neighborhood exits and makeshift view spots like lighthouses.
Mm-hmm.
Sheena Beckman says, I love how she says garbage. I'm country. We say garbage.
You say garbage. And she said, what you say, Sheena?
She said, we said garbage.
She-
Said this is how political growth happens. Stepping virtue.
Right, it is. That's exactly how it
Yeah.
happens.
Crony Nepo, yeah, not what you know, who you know. AC Newman said watching. Mid in the mouth still is for sure. Hillary won.
Well, she
Did all the work. Now
We-
we're friends.
Yep, we did all the work. But
But
we
do we
always
rest?
do. We took
This
a
stuff
little
is
break
crazy.
because I think we got depressed afterwards,
Yeah.
and then we came back out because that's one of the things that we do,
Yeah.
and we especially do it as Black females,
Yeah.
and that's why you know what, just like Black History Month, I said I'm gonna just start saying Black History because we need to celebrate it all the time. We need to celebrate ourselves all the time as well because we're always doing the work and not getting the credit that we
Always.
deserve for we get talked about,
We do.
you get dragged,
Get used to
you
it.
know, all of that stuff
Yeah.
because I was watching, you know, I'm going, let me ask you this before I get into yesterday, since it's Women's History Month.
Month.
Tell me some women that really just inspired you and inspire you to do this because this to me this should be a calling. If you're really a
Yeah.
true public servant, you've been called to do the work.
Absolutely. First would be my mother who gave me the gift of religion because without having my basis and my foundation, I would not do this because I calls on the Lord all the time. Then as a little girl, my
Yeah.
first book that I really read about a Black woman was Mary McLeod Bethune. And I remember getting her and reading the book in the library, and that's when I was going to Pierce Elementary. And then as you thirst for our history. Ida B. Wells, Sojourner Truth, who said, "As so long as our journey, I will always tell the truth." Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, is so many.
I mean, it's
great,
so
many great women
Right.
that we didn't learn about really in school. And as I still learn, I tell people, watch PBS,
Yeah.
put in Black history documentaries,
and we still
some wonderful movies, some wonderful documentaries.
right.
And I love a documentary. I do.
And speaking of thirst, you know what, Tonya? Let me just say this: it's been 3,968 days,
That's
and
right.
Flint still don't have clean water.
Now, and we're still at 90% when you were in office with the service line. And that's been since
This is almost
2019.
4,000
Yeah,
days
it's a long time
that we have gone
without clean water.
without clean water. I just want to say that.
And it's going to be longer. You know, they claim that they're 98% with residential. Now they're supposed to do
Why aren't they done, Tonya? Stop.
well, let's one, because we have a mayor who didn't talk about the water. Water was not
Yes,
important.
He did. He said it tastes fresh.
Okay. Well, we know he's not very good at telling the truth. We never hear him say the quality
No.
where we're at. I cannot even get the DPW department to come to council to give us the state of where the water is, which I constantly do and send emails to request that. So we're supposed to be 98% done with residential, and the percentage of then they're going to start the businesses. They haven't did restoration because those numbers were between
That's right.
1,500, 1,800 to like 8,500. So they don't know, we don't have them. And so because of Flint's incompetence, the state of Michigan took it over. They are completing the process. The state of Michigan, they are completing it. And we have to look at that interview that Congressman Kildee made, which I was shocked when he just said he told the truth.
He told the truth.
He told the truth when he said I could drive with a Brinks truck up, but if they're
Right.
not using the money right, speaking to Mayor Sheldon Neely, it doesn't make a difference. The service lines should have been replaced. Scripps News, you can Google it. It's on there. And for him to say that it was powerful that you have an elected official at that level actually telling the truth,
Right.
not trying to talk in circles to you. So he was stating Mayor Sheldon Neely did not do his job with completing and finishing those pipes because that money comes down from the federal government, down to the state, down to our local government. And the state took over our pipes because he lacked the ability to complete finishing changing the service lines.
Well, it wasn't important to him.
No, I mean,
It's not important
no.
to him, and it's obvious
He's throwing out seniors
Right.
now, so no.
And I was going to say, and it's obviously not important to some of your colleagues
Yeah.
that sit on Flint City Council.
No.
And I need to say, you know what? Thank you for coming in, because I did watch yesterday.
This is my PTSD day.
Mm-hmm.
I should be out in the parking lot with a bottle of scotch.
I mean,
and
really,
smoking a cigar.
that was I
was
watched
crazy.
that, and I mean, it is sad to see.
Yeah.
And you brought, and we're going to show you if you didn't see it. If you missed it, I do have a clip from yesterday.
Well, I mean, we should show the behavior, and Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter, we really kind of temper each other through this, that we generally, like, we sit next to each other, and we don't have no dividers, because that is my sister, not only in Christ.
Right.
I love her and her passion that she's going to do what's right. And she was like, Tonya, just, and so I always get, Tonya, just,
you all can
well, yeah,
balance each
we
other.
do. Just like, I didn't realize one time when she grabbed my arm back, well, she didn't grab, she yanked me back.
I'm gonna talk to Jerry too.
Councilwoman
Winfrey Carter. I can't wait to talk to her, because I do watch you all, and it's good that you all are there.
And she kept telling me yesterday, just let everybody see how silly she is. Let everybody see how immature she is.
Well,
Tonya, just don't say anything.
See, because, and let's set it up, because this has been going on for a little while. This is around the St. Mark and the food, being able to distribute food in the community. And it's something they've been doing for a while now.
For years.
And not only that, providing mental health services, doing programs for young kids. So they're really integrated into the community and doing things with and for the community. And so they've been coming to see if they're going to get funding to continue. Is that correct?
Right. And I want to make this statement, because you hear some of my colleagues who continuously gaslight this community, who's hungry, who can't afford food, access to food, and food insecurities, living in the food desert, that he's overfunded, that he's got this money. When you have a business, you ran a city, you were our mayor in chief. You cannot commingle funds. You cannot take what's meant for mental health and spend it for food. You cannot take what's meant for a clothing closet and spend it for food. You cannot take the building fund of the church and the roof and use it for food. You cannot do these things. So the basic premise of business, they don't get. And he hasn't even gotten that money yet, because Trump's in office. And so when they gaslight and tell these lies, and they don't take their medication or see their therapist the day before, that is what we get was last night.
Last night was
a mess.
And you know what? Let me know when you have it ready. We've seen that. Okay. You want to show it now? We've seen this.
We've seen, I lived
this kind of behavior before.
Several. She does it a lot.
And so you're going to have to tell me what inspires you to stay, because this is difficult. But watch this, you all.
So my colleague is correct when she said that we will hear rhetoric tonight. She's giving you plenty of rhetoric, because it's completely disingenuous of her to say that she believes people should have food access, and then sit here in your face and tell you that in order for you to get your people food access, you have to do things her way. Everything that she's accused us of doing, she is sitting here doing in your face. I need us to be clear on what we're dealing with when we're dealing with this. This is feigned indignation from somebody who's simply trying to get money to someone that is a personal friend for them. The difference of what is happening here is that we are trying to get food access to people who are today asking in a part of the city.
Excuse me, watch your tone, please, Madam Chair. Decorum.
You couldn't hear me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I heard you. It was rude.
What's your point?
My point is, she should not be speaking to my motives. Calling excuse me, I'm not done. Rule 43.21. Pastor Thompson, you don't know if he's my friend or not, so don't speak to my motives. You dated him.
Go ahead.
Or tried to, not me.
Never in my life. And thank you for being dishonest and telling lies. Thank you for trying to make something personal. That's incorrect again. As you can see, when she's not winning an argument, she goes low and tries to take the argument somewhere else, saying things that are deeply dishonest. She also tried to stop my flow. So let me get back into my flow with the fact that, again, this is disingenuous. It's feigned indignation for someone that is a personal friend. She's saying someone is doing personal attacks or speaking to motives. We heard her entire rhetoric before I got the floor while she was telling us what we were doing. Is that not what she's accusing me of now? I need us to start watching dishonest Tonya Burns and how she moves. It has to stop today. It has to stop
What's your
today.
point?
I'm not going to allow her to attack my character by calling me dishonest Tonya Burns when we looking at Kooky Candace, okay? I'm not going to allow that. Not today.
Go ahead. And
All right, thank you very much. Again, as you can see, she's gonna go low to try and stop me because she can't beat me verbally, so she has to say all kind of things to try and stop what I'm saying. I need us to watch the behavior. I need us to watch the fact that everyone that's around her that spends any time with her eventually points out the fact that she's a liar, eventually points out the fact that she's dishonest, eventually points out the fact that she's a user.
point.
Okay, you know what?
Yeah, I don't think she.
Halfway through that, and the fact that they let her talk like that
Yeah.
and never stopped her, never checked her, because if somebody else had done that, you'd have gotten a warning, you've been put out. So how does that get to continue? And you stopped her flow.
Yeah, and she and I can't beat her verbally. First of all, mentally she's incapable. So therefore, you don't continue arguments with people who clearly have got some issues. And I was there for the food, number one. Not and then you go back to Bethel, which is in my ward.
Right.
I made sure I advocated for them. It took months. Emily Dora is now gone because that's what people at the city of Flint do with their talents. They take it and they leave.
Away. Right.
And they leave. St. Mark's is not in my ward, but I know that what he does as a public servant and what people don't get. And people say, oh, well, your mic is hot. So sometimes I need the people to hear her. She be talking crazy up there. She talks when someone else is she has like a nervous like tick. And so when people are talking, she's like chairing the meeting, but she's not. So if Judy's chairing, she's co-chairing and talking the entire time. So I tune her out and I really don't, it's not personal with her. For me, it is. I do what
she tries to make. She made it very personal.
Oh, she did.
And,
dishonest Tonya, and when people and I'm a user, and girl, stop.
It reminded me of the way she talked to Councilwoman Winfrey Carter. I mean, you see this behavior over and over and over.
Well, Councilwoman Winfrey Carter called her, "You're just nasty," and she is. But when you're doing the bidding for someone else, and she's doing the bidding for the person who fired her, she did this talking and talked crazy and out the side of her neck to then State Rep Mayor Neely, and he fired her because he said her mouth and she's disrespectful. And so somehow she thinks that she's going to win with this. It's not.
No,
it's not. And we were there for food access. They continuously vote down St. Mark. St. Mark, you cannot commingle funds.
Why?
They have not received
What
it.
is the reason to vote them down? Just what
Liddell a councilwoman member Lewis does not like him.
She cussed him
out not once but twice.
Right.
And they vote as a clique. And they are a dangerous voting clique. And how dare you challenge them? I'm up for the challenge. You can't break me because you didn't make me. And so they do this week after week because you talk fast doesn't mean you're right. You're talking fast and you're wrong.
Fast and loud.
Just like, and she called Dennis a racist and a snake. And everybody had the video where the day that they did this, they sat in between, she sits to my left. Then Dennis sits on the other side of her. Liddell Lewis sat in the wrong seat, in the 9th Ward seat. For over 2.5 hours, they race baited him. They called him racist snakes. And how you like me? You're no good. Just went at him. And Judy, the very worst one. Well, they all pour chairs because they're rude. allowed that behavior, and she like sunk into the chair because they went at him. And then to the point to where I got out my seat to stop it, because those two individuals, because I'm not going to call them ladies because the behavior is not ever ladylike at all, and they were going after him, and Liddell stood up to fight him. That's the one.
That was,
and so then she's went after, she went on speed humps with Jonathan Jarrett. I mean, it's just the stuff that they do. They go and attack everyone. If you're not in that dangerous clique where you're doing what they say, they go after you.
Right.
I'm not going to play
That's
the
what I
game.
was gonna say, they go
Yeah.
after you.
I got kids her age. I'm not going to play with nobody's child.
Right.
And somebody needs to get her childlike behavior. I'm not going to play with her. And then afterwards, she wanted to talk and make deals.
We got some comments.
She wanted to make deals.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We want to
and then we'll talk about after this ridiculous rant. She wanted to make deals.
Because I want to talk about Hasselbring, because that's a hot topic.
It's very hot.
And it makes no sense either.
No.
You
need to get her, or I'm gonna get her, because I'm not gonna allow her to slander
She's trying
me
to stop me
and
again.
speak to my. No, you
Trying
need to
to
be
stop me
quiet if you know
again.
what point of order
Mr.
is.
Chet.
Thank you. Close your mouth. I'm not going to lie. You need to correct her. Speaking to my one thing I don't do is lie, but we know you do.
No.
So I'm going to tell you don't go low, because I'm going to go lower on you.
Excuse me, please be respectful to each other. Go
Thank
ahead.
you. As I stated, everyone knows she's a liar. It's been said time and time again from anyone that's dealt with her. You can't get any lower than you already are. If you can, I'll be surprised. Back to what I was saying about food access. There are people here today who needs the food access. They keep saying they care and they want everybody to have food, but apparently, as always, Dirty Tonya has to deal in dishonesty. As always, it has to be in order for me to do something, you have to do something for me.
You need to get her,
What is your
because
point?
she is a lack of decorum, name call. Y'all throw everybody out of here, including us. Get her together. Get her, warn her at this point. All this name calling, Dirty Tonya, and all this other stuff. That needs to stop.
Please
Warn
be
her.
respectful for each other. Go ahead, Ms. Michette.
Absolutely. When you correct Ms. Burns, you notice when she's doing rhetoric and she's saying things about us and trying to say we're doing political things, you notice nobody stops her. You notice we don't stop or interrupt her, but once someone starts calling out her truth, she interrupts you every 2 seconds. The truth is, she could care less about you getting food access, because if she cared about you getting food access today, she would go ahead and vote for you to have food access today and continue to push her cause for St. Mark to get food access. Like she said, you're getting caught in something that's personal for her. This is not personal for me in the sense of there's an issue with someone and then she's going to do whatever she can do, throw out all kind of accusations and say all kind of stuff. She took it personally first. So if you want to get personal, then you have to deal with the consequences.
This is the interim or acting vice president, and we do have rules of decorum. So according to the charter, y'all know I'm a charter person. Okay. So page 26, section 3-104, responsibility of the city council. All representatives of the citizens of the city of Flint city council members are expected to conduct themselves with appropriate decorum, act respectfully with constituents and each other and other public servants. I mean, she just dirty.
Right.
She think I'm let her come at me?
Exactly.
She better I checked the black box. I'm really not the one.
Right.
Not with what I'm going through.
And they just sat there. But the other thing is they sat there when people came up there with weapons too. So they sit there. They sat there when other people have been called names. Women have been called bees. And
Liddell called me a bee.
Right.
So, but I'm the one.
And that's my point. They will sit there and allow it when it's them.
Right. So I do want to do this, and thank you for allowing me on. So one, her flow. What is your flow?
What she said, you interrupted my flow. Let me get back
right,
to
because that is so look, I did that in junior high. Because by the time I was in high school, it was a whole different thing.
Right.
And so those are some of the things, the lack of maturity and the immaturity is what prevailed in her rhetoric and her conversation. Not when I stated in my other colleagues, then she was misquoting and said, I said about the willow tree, the girl is a liar. Candace Machat is a liar. I didn't even mention about the willow trees. That wasn't even me. And then she tried to put the willow trees. So we have to look at what the people are saying, because she takes things out of context. So the other thing about I'm trying to get my friend, no, I'm trying to get the community. Technically, Liddell is your friend. It's in the second ward. She's been in the line getting food for herself, or friends, or whomever. So I want the community to eat, not just the east side. I want the north side, south side, west side, all sides, because we have the money. And they watching that money like they the money crypt keepers.
And what gets me is, but Liddell will post flyers.
Oh yeah,
for food giveaways in other communities, not in Flint,
right,
not in her ward.
Right.
She'll vote no for her community
3 times
for her ward.
3
but
times.
She will advertise.
Yep. And advocate.
Exactly.
Yep. And she voted. And so when it gets down to the votes, and I stated they voted no 3 times. That seemed to irritate the immature person that sits to my left. And so she decided, they stick together, that little dangerous clique. Judy's tone was apprehensive. It was disrespectful. And they want to talk about decorum. So.
Oh. Yes. Oh, he's sitting down. We got.
So and she's, my thing is this: if you want to go, and Councilman Mays would always say, if they go low, I go lower. Former First Lady,
meet people where they are.
Well, you know what? I'm ready to go to hell with some people. I'm gonna put it. That's where it's at. I'm not. Some people you may have to go to hell with, because the things that are happening, people aren't getting. I get it, but what you're not going to do when you are. First of all, my daughter was raised to be more respectful than her.
Right.
And you don't come at people. She talked just like she told Councilwoman Murphy Carter, I'm going to teach you how to be a lady.
Yeah. And that's what this threw me back to when I saw this.
Her blatant disrespect.
Exactly.
But then she wants to make side deal. Black women, and she was showcased.
Like each other, absolutely. But you can show respect.
She went to the Ethics and Accountability Board and defended a racist who said my skin was not black. And if he had said it, that she would be the first one to tell him he was wrong. Well, he said it, Candace, So Candace is a habitual, pathologic, chronic liar. If she's talking, by the end of the sentence, a lie will be told. The disrespect she has for women in our community is blatant. It's blatant. But then, because and I almost was going to say to call her kooky, because I tried to stay
above. You did.
Yeah, I did as good as I wanted to go lower. But with her, it's so I see her attack our colleagues if we don't vote. You can't bully me to vote the way you want me to vote. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to always be on the side of the residents. I'm going to always be on the side that I can lay my head down. You can ask me the story tomorrow or 25 years from now, because I'm standing on my truth and in my truth. And when folks keep coming for me, I will go to prove where you are wrong. Down to the fact, I will go get the report from the Michigan State Police. Don't play with my character and my reputation. If I'm going to drag mine down, it's going to be me. I'm going to defend myself and not allow their lies and her lies to go further. But it bothers me that I see this. Then her behavior. Then she want a sidebar. Want to make all these crazy deals.
Let's make a deal.
I'm like,
okay, you want to give us some comments first, because we could talk about let's make a deal. I want to ask you about.
Well,
I got a lot of questions.
The batter said, has Candace been in for her psych evaluation lately? There's been a lot of comments. I'm gonna say that's because she be lying, but that they got the Pinocchio nose emoji right there. No one has to beat someone who beats themselves. She's sickening. Casey Calvert said, good evening. Terrence O'Sells, nobody or nothing ladylike about Roos Moose or the Joker. Let me see. Beverly Barnes, Judy Presley is the worst. Philip Johnson, any person going off like that, there has to be a cause deeper and older than folks see. Sheena Beckton, boom, that's it right there. Terrence O'Sells, get her, Tonya. She capping. Let's see. The baddest seventh ward people, do you deserve her? John Malley, Candace is going to make Pastor Thompson want her. If he doesn't give in, she's not going to support to give him the grant. And that was kind of up towards the top and you get down towards the bottom. Mitten the Mouse says she thinks she a rapper. Beverly Barnes said it was willow trees over food.
It was what over food?
Willow trees
over food.
Terrence O'Sell said a battle rapper. Jade Williams said, and here thought it was going to be a better meeting because Liddell wasn't there. Beverly
No, she
Barnes.
had to make up for her not being there.
You know, but Leon was so different yesterday without Liddell there. And I had actually said, I was like, where did we get that fifth vote? Because I was doing
I was gonna say you all got a fifth vote.
Yeah, he voted he voted for what was right.
Right.
And I said, you voted. And he said, yeah. I thought, how from over here.
Right.
Because vote for what's right.
Right.
And then if you want to explain it, not vote in a click. Because what I have done is supported food for my community. What I have voted for and consistently advocated is to feed the community. And I have worked at the health center. I have put my last one I worked at was at Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving, I worked at one. So I'm out there in the cold, okay, in my boots if it's freezing in the summertime. I got so dark. Yeah, got so dark one time. Look, I look like a zebra because I was striped with the little because it's hard work, but I enjoy the people and seeing helping my community.
Being a public servant and not a servant for yourself. But you know, a lot of the problem is you have a mayor that runs the executive branch and the legislative branch.
Oh, absolutely.
And he doesn't know what to do right now because he don't have them 5 votes. You know, that really has thrown
well, she's advocating for him. She's doing his bidding. As soon as he uses her up again, she'll be somewhere calling folks. He did me wrong. I can't believe it. Because she's done that, and she know who she done called up to do that. She was crying, and I felt sorry for her when he did it. I actually did then, you know. But it's just the things that she does that.
Well, you know who I feel sorry for the community.
I feel really very sorry for the community
because we're the ones getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Because you've got council members that don't care about people, that don't have a heart, that are in it for themselves, lining their pockets, voting for themselves to get money.
Well, yeah. Well, let's put it on the floor. So Liddell Lewis voted to give herself and her organization that she incorporated in August of 2021, $50,000 and then another $25,000, and she was her own 5th vote. Now she keeps saying, Judy, well, no, that's wasn't her. Well, Cash Kitchen, Judy, we not asking you. We want to know. Show us where you paid for that kitchen. Where did you get the money to pay for it? Just saved up for. I want to see your checkbook, savings account, or the spot underneath your mattress.
She works a whole bunch of jobs.
Yeah, well,
she said the 4th ward doesn't get anything. Well, you got a new kitchen. You live in the 4th ward.
She got a whole new kitchen. And she told, Attorney Kim told me about it. Or Attorney Kim was talking. She just got a new kitchen and she paid cash. She was telling everybody.
She told everybody.
She was telling everybody. So show us where you got it from. Because her attitude and how she speaks to me and to Councilwoman Winfrey Carter is nasty with her tone towards Black women.
Well,
she has a nasty tone, as you heard last night. No, check yourself.
And we hear it frequently.
Frequently.
So let's talk about Hasselbring.
Oh God.
Because okay, how many of you are there? You got a clone? Is there a clone? Because look, you're everywhere. But you're bringing us the information that
y'all
we need to know.
Y'all knew where I was at. I was like, if I go to jail, y'all know who's gonna come get me.
One time I thought I was going to see you at a meeting, and then when I saw there was a fire at Central, I said, well, she's probably there, but you really had something else you had to do. I said, oh, Tanya's not going to make it to the meeting because I can't get through. They got it all blocked. I said, Tanya will be. So, I mean.
News doesn't cover our and so.
Say that again.
News does
not cover what is going
on.
Now,
one thing I will say, as I'm looking at the stories coming out, I think they're starting.
I mean,
and they're there at council, and so
they had stopped coming.
They stopped, and now I think because they have been shut out by this mayor's administration, that they are seeking the truth, and so they're going up against podcasters, and so that part I do appreciate. And like I said, I'm transparent. I'm gonna give them the news, and that's what we should be doing to make our community better. So back to Hasselbring.
Yeah,
I have been working with her for about a year and a half. Because Councilman Mays was out there just getting his little party on. Right. He was everywhere having little bands, marching bands that meeting him at the airport. He was leading parades down at historically Black colleges and universities, and so he was living his best life. And so I would fill in for him. And so filling in for him in his ward, it was an
Well,
honor.
but you know what it reminds? Okay, you know what this reminds me
What?
of, don't you? House of Esther. I mean,
You were out there though.
right? That was a fight,
Yeah,
though.
that-
And why
you
are
had a
we
room.
always? I had a room in there. Why do we have to fight for these things? That I mean, we should want these things in our community.
Yeah.
We should want to help people.
Yeah.
And it's like they just keep. Let me take that from you.
Yeah.
Now let me take that from you.
Yeah.
I don't care. In fact, let me push you down.
Yeah.
And that's what happens.
Yeah.
So it reminded me, here goes another fight for what's right.
Yeah.
When we talk about, because it was House of Esther,
Yeah.
now it's Hasselbring.
Right. So
And they don't care about seniors,
Seniors,
they don't care
babies,
about babies, and
pregnant teens.
so if they don't care about anything, then
you don't
they don't care
matter.
about anything in between.
You don't matter.
Right.
So Hasselbrink, she had been going through the Congress. Congress, well, she was then, oh God, was she state rep? McDonald Ribbon.
Yes.
And so she was running for Congress, in which we were really looking for you to run. I
You got that in there, huh?
I did. Y'all know I did. I did, but I always respect your space and our friendship. I always do. And and so when she says I have to think about it, because it affects your family.
It affects your family.
Whatever you run for,
Right.
Because they will eat you alive.
Mhm.
And I think I was a side dish with Candace last night. She thought
you were.
I'm gonna get her.
And you
She
showed
can't
her.
out-talk me verbally. I'm
Right.
like, girl, I was doing this.
Right.
So I think with Hasselbrink, we had the senior center. So she was told by Mayor Neely to make McDonald Rivet leave. And Congressman Kildee had donated large sums of money to McDonald Rivet. UAW had said,
Exactly.
we're going to do whatever we can do to get McDonald
Right.
Rivet in this office. After you said you wouldn't run. Yeah, I'm giving y'all the tea, y'all. Giving y'all the tea. And so they wanted somebody from FLINT.
They did.
Yeah.
And we should.
Absolutely.
Really, Flint
Absolutely.
is the largest
Yeah.
in the area.
And it's the first time we don't have a
It's the
representative
first time.
from Flint.
That's right.
And so Mayor Weaver
see.
had some things going on.
I had some things.
Yeah.
I had some stuff happening.
You had some serious stuff.
Yeah, I did.
And you have to do things in your own time because you giving 100% and more of yourself. So McDonald Rivet was there, didn't have campaign literature. Someone called and said, she's here and she's talking to the people. And then he called and told her to put her out. She says, I can't do that. He went up one side, down the other. The next month, or was it even within a month, let's say that, she received a bill stating that their rent was going to be $4,586.67 per month from $1. Okay, to $4,586.67. So
that makes that. I mean, that math
right.
doesn't math.
No other building that's a public building in
Right.
Flint pays that
Right.
because we know where our community is at. We are still in the water crisis. You
Yes,
stated we
we
still
are.
don't have clean water. Restoration, service line replacement is not complete.
Right.
And so he began to
And it
go.
don't taste fresh.
No. And he was at the water plant
Right.
then, and that was a raw water or whatever. His optics. So Beverly Lewis became the next target because if you don't do what he says,
Right.
he will destroy you.
Right.
He will destroy you with his lies. He'll destroy your reputation. He'll destroy and mess with your finances. He will destroy your job. And that's what he does. He goes to completely and totally annihilate you.
Right.
And there is no level to where he stops. So if Candace talks about if somebody can go lower, she should probably be asking the person that she sucks up to down in that mayor's office because she learned from him. She just talks a little
Right.
faster
She
because
talks
he has a
faster.
little
Right,
yeah.
but she talks
Yeah, she
faster.
talks, but she
But
learned it from him.
Just because you talk fast
Don't mean you're right.
Exactly. Or
Doesn't
smart.
make you right. So Beverly was fighting for, and she did a courageous battle. So she took it to court.
She sure did.
She did. She didn't just say, you're going to run me over.
Yeah.
She didn't. And she started to garner support. So I like to be, I don't know what is in the way back, but me and her went through it. And we haven't had our cry yet, our real cry. And so.
Because you know what?
Yeah.
Because part of it is still a winner because
Yeah.
he didn't expect
Her to be resilient.
and he didn't expect that fight. he didn't expect
No.
her to get another plane.
Nope.
I mean, so
And she had a backup plan.
yeah, she had a backup plan.
So as we were going over places for her to
His
to
backup
lease or
plan was
to,
to call the police.
he did. He did.
How many
So
times?
oh God. Oh, he sent police there twice. No,
Mhm.
3. Because technically we're gonna say once she was out of there and in the Kennedy Center,
Right.
he sent Dana Daniels over there, and there's a videotape of that. There's a videotape of that. And so the intimidation, the threatening. So I get a call. I'm at my mom's house, and I hadn't took my shoes off for some reason. And my mom, you know, you black,
Because you were gonna have to turn around.
I didn't even know. And she got white carpet. She's like, "You're in my house with your shoes on. I got white
them
carpet."
off.
Right. And so I was like, "Mom, I'm not, you gotta get the carpet clean." Then I got a call shortly afterward. And she did tell me off. I got told off. I got told off. I did. And so when the father said, "Look, I gotta go." She's like, "What you leaving for? You never got time and you're always busy." I said, "I'm gonna be back though, Mom."
Mhm.
And so we were having, it was like me and her little weekly wind down.
Uh-huh.
So we were having a little wind down
Why?
and gossiping and this and so I get over there, and Beverly calls me, and I hear them in the background that they're going to arrest her, and that it was a deputy chief of police, Aunt Cliff, saying he's going to arrest her, start locking them up or booking them or whatever, booking them, I think. And he took his handcuffs off to he was like to intimidate.
Stop.
And so I get over there. By the time I got there, and I was like 6-7 minutes away, and I got there, he was gone. There was still all these police. So when I get there, we've got video. I'm like, "What are you doing here? They can't move." I said, "What do you mean they can't move?" And one thing, y'all, pull out when you see things that aren't right, pull out your video camera
And start
Yeah.
taping.
Right. Start taping. Because let the world see that
Right.
we have a black mayor, a black police chief going after the black institutions and our black seniors and our predominantly black city of 60%. You can't get mad at nobody. Look, our oppressor is the black man at City Hall.
Right.
He is our oppressor right now with the people. So she's saying they're stopping her
But
from
that's
moving.
why they went and got him. Because they knew what he would do.
And I felt bad for the officers. So when I get there, I said, "Well, do you have a court order?" Over 90,000 people have looked at those videos. Over 90,000, because you can see the injustice, then the intimidation. The officer, I asked him, "Well, who sent you?" Because no one, because you have to respond. Nobody wanted to answer. Well, it was the mayor
I was gonna
dispatched
say,
10.
because it probably wasn't the chief of police.
It was 10. No, it was not. You know, he don't like to take blame for too much of nothing. Yeah.
So we have a mayor that runs the
He's
executive branch, the legislative
Yeah.
branch. He's over the police.
Running
He
the
used to be.
yeah.
He was running the media for a
Look,
while
he-
too now.
that he was.
Yeah.
He was running that up until but you get those fallouts line up though. They line up. And so I get there, and then I asked them, "Where's the court order?" Asked some questions, blah, blah, blah. And it was a little heated. It was tense. And so they got the call to leave. We getting out. She on here live. Then I get a call the next day. I'm trying to finish up some stuff. And I get a call the next. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And so I did get one call, and somebody said, "Look, we ain't trying to be bothered with you today. You know, look, if you can, you just, you know," because I was mad as hell. I was angry because I have lived through being intimidated before, and I don't like it when people do that. And when I get there, you got the city attorney there, you got the city, that part. The city attorney was there. The IT guy, Zach, was there. You had the mayor's, one of the secretaries, Tiffany, was there. I don't know. You had Lee with the maintenance facilities. You had Dana Daniels there from the Flint Police Department. And you had somebody else. Then you had the police. The police was like, "We ain't getting out the car. We ain't trying to mess with this stuff." They stayed in their cruisers.
It's good that you showed people though, because the community was angry as well.
Yeah. And the community didn't know.
Right.
So when I asked,
saw that.
It's because it's happening. It's happening. So when I asked Attorney Cups, I said, "Attorney Cups," I said, "Can you tell me why you were here? Who sent you here?" He says, "I can't. No, he said, "No, I can't recall. I said, oh, I'll help you recall. I said, you were in court sitting next to the other attorney. I said, and you were to the left, he was to the right. And the judge told you when you asked for keys that they were entitled to quiet enjoyment, that you could not go into that building until March 3rd. Why are you here?
Right.
No comment. You're live.
Well,
And then they left.
I told you, no, I was talking to some other people. I said, I think it's when we were doing Clutching Our Pearls, or is that when I was talking about, no, I was at a meeting. That's where I was. And somebody asked him, they ran into him and said, they're leaving. Why are you doing this? And he said, because I can.
What?
Because I can.
Because he can.
Mhm.
So the mayor said he's doing it to the seniors because
That's
he
what he
can.
wants to do. But it goes back to what you were saying earlier. If you don't go along with what he wants done, he comes after you.
Oh,
And
I've
it
been a
doesn't
target.
matter.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just
And he
doesn't matter.
lies. He's brought my children into it. That's the kind of nasty
Mhm.
individual that he is.
Mhm.
His secretary, she's tried to make, I mean, two of them. And then he used to have the little lion communications director, Katie, who couldn't tell the truth. If you gave her all of the letters to spell it, she would still get it wrong. So
Truth.
she just, the truth just ain't in it.
So no, and so thank you for showing up and letting us know what's going on, because a lot of people wouldn't know.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
People wouldn't know what was going on.
She's happy to not be in a building with the city. Now they came and served her at her new one. They're suing her.
They just will not leave her
Will
alone.
not. The harassment, because you're not going to win with him. His thing is, I'm going to annihilate you.
Mhm.
And I have said several times,
Listen, next year we have time. Is an opportunity
to change that.
Yeah. We can change the mayor's seat. We can change the council seats. There are other races.
State rep.
There are all of. Let me say that one again.
State rep.
Right. So we have an opportunity.
Yeah.
To make some changes. You all pay attention.
Governor.
To who's that one too? Who's got your back? Who's out there talking? Who's being your voice? Pay attention, because they're showing us who they really are. And
we better believe them.
And we better believe them.
Don't. I mean, people, Project 2025. Oh, we don't believe that. Oh, I never heard of that. But what are you talking about? Project 2025. Well, what did he do in his first day? Project 2025. He started acting everything.
Right.
It was very clear that was his roadmap.
Yeah. I was listening today, and it was was it a senator or a congressman from someplace, and he was saying, well, he said what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised at the pipes and all of that, because he told us it tastes fresh. So, right. He said it tastes fresh. So why would we expect pipes to be changed? Or why are we surprised by any of this behavior?
Right.
You want to talk about how low some people can go.
Let's
talk about,
and we have water advocates on that on the Flint City Council. You do not ever hear Candace Mashat talk about water. She is a water advocate. You do not. She works at a water lab. You never hear her, because she can't do it, because the mayor will not allow her to do it. She has an elected seat. Her voice should be bigger than anyone else's when it talks about water injustices, right? Because she knows it and she's seen it. But because she's with this corrupt individual and his administration, she is silenced from speaking out again. She would rather be Flo Rida in her rap battle than speak out loudly against why isn't this water fixed.
And just think, if people just did what was right, it's more of you.
Absolutely.
It's more. So, okay, I got another question.
Uh-oh.
I want to ask you about the clerk.
See, this is where,
what?
I like Davina. I do.
Okay, I'm asking about the clerk position.
Yeah. What about it?
Because I think, I think it should be an elected position, because I think that the clerk is beholden to the council, and she's supposed to be, or whoever the clerk is supposed to be there for the people, and they're supposed to be over processes and let you know you can't do this, you can. This is how it goes. I mean, because really, who should be running these meetings still? Since there has not been an election for president.
Right. And so I agree that it should be an elected position. And I say that because the county clerk is an elected position. And
most clerks are elected.
Right. And I look at how he's running in his office and bringing it up from 1961 to 2025. and he's doing it purposely with technology,
Mhm.
innovative ideas. He invited me for a training,
Okay.
and the training was customer service, which does not exist in America anymore. And he said, "Hey, I need a favor from you."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Well, what's your favor? Look, am I getting
Yeah.
recalled again?
Right.
Look, if the clerk
Again,
call
right.
you, that means you
That-
might be getting,
You know, I know.
right. You might be getting recalled."
Right.
And so he says, no, he said, "I need you to, I'm doing a training. Can you come to the training and be a part of it?"
Okay.
And I said, "Absolutely." And so I went, and so he wanted to do skits. And I didn't know that these skits were real things that happened to people that he felt that they could be handled better.
Okay.
And so he had them on there, and then we had to do the skits. I actually had one of the skits with the person that it happened to, and I saw her shut down. And I was like, "Oh my God," because it's like you're doing the skit, and I was the angry customer, and for him to take those issues to say, how can we do it better?
Right.
Because we're going to get people who don't like you because you're Black and because you're a woman. And that's what that one was.
What does it say? Black women matter.
Black women matter.
But it's a bunch of bullies over there, Tonya.
We're at.
Over there in the city. It's just a bunch of bullies.
Absolutely.
And so that's what you see happening. And so then that voice is taken out as well. Because you got to be strong to stand up and fight back.
She could handle him in such a nice, nasty way because her position does not have anything to do with his.
Right.
She could handle him because he is difficult to do. I will honestly tell you, but you have to be very good at working around him. So imagine some of the people that I know who would be able to handle him, and he can be handled, and he should be. But she just wants to come do her job. And he's not going to let you just to come do your job.
To do the job. Okay.
Yeah.
We need a clerk.
Yeah.
Let's just say we need that job needs to be done the way it is supposed to be done, because that's around elections. And it's a disservice. This is me. It's a disservice to the people when we can't trust the election process. And we don't trust it.
People do not. Now, I was told there is a whole file over there on the prosecutor's office with some things. I don't know what it's sitting there for, if they were investigating it or,
Yeah.
Because we had some of them, the tins that were open or the bags or whatever, your election, your election, where people gave fake names. Yep. And they couldn't, they were given erroneous names.
That's right.
Making up names. What name do I put on this? Oh, just put this Alex
name.
Brown.
Right. Exactly. All kind of things were done, and that should have been taken care of.
It should have.
So
and I think that and that's where it has to be a job or a calling. But then people will look at, if I have huge responsibilities, I just kind of be quiet and let it go. I'm not the kind of let it go kind of thing. That ain't, that's not in my blood.
Yeah.
It's not. I have been mistreated or dealt with in my industry being a Black woman with predominantly, I was the only Black woman out of about 900 something dealers that was Black with ADT, and they were mostly Republicans. And so at our conferences, majority of them brought their secretaries, y'all. They brought their secretaries, And then you had some who would always take my daughter, and they would try to hit on my daughter. I'm like, look, pedophile, go somewhere. That's what literally it was. Yeah. Yeah. They're not like us. They not like us. And it really was. It's where my daughter went for years with me, and we went all over out the country too. And that's what they would do. It's how they look at it. Yeah. And she very much
peace.
Right. And they knew she was not of age.
Right. That didn't matter.
It did not matter. And so I told quite a few people off, because I don't mince my word. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you did.
Absolutely.
But like you said, we're glad to have a strong person in that seat, really.
Well, thank you.
And a lot of people want to know what keeps you there, because it'd be easy
to quit every day. Like last night.
Or, well, you got fired every day before.
I got fired every day working for the mayor.
That's right.
I honestly did. And it was okay. And it was funny because people would say some of my, they would be like, well, did you quit? I would literally be in the garage before I went upstairs. I had to pray. I carry holy oil in my purse to anoint my area, and so that the people around me, to provide a hedge of
protection.
Absolutely around me, because it was that bad.
Yeah.
And so finally, at the point where I realized the lies he was saying on you, and I'm gonna say it again, I apologize that I believed him. The lies were good. He manufactured lies like he manufactured cars off a GM line. It was the 20, I was at 24. You left a surplus. 24 million.
He said I found some money. I found 20. How you find what I put in the letter and said was there?
And I never seen the letter.
And
until I talked to you.
Because I said I have it.
Yeah.
It went to me. I don't know. I went sent it to Emma.
Yeah.
I put it out.
Did you send it to Emma?
Yes, I sent that letter out and I put it up on social media. And I called Councilman Mays. I said, I need you to know that here's this money. And we were going to give people more credits for their water.
Okay.
And I called.
I didn't see the letter. I did see you cut up your P card, your credit card. You cut it up, and they were saying, I don't know if I ever told you this. This is probably why I was getting fired every day, because I did get copies, and I wanted to see. People kept saying, well, she's getting illegal purchases with her P card. She never had them, y'all. I got the spreadsheet, and I don't know. I never told you that. I did. There was nothing on there. Your travel was paid for out of you had a travel budget, but a lot of your travel, like the black or the mayor's organizations or right, because they wanted to have your voice. So he had lied so bad, and you did not have any. You didn't. I read them. I look, the airlines folks was flying on all of that. I guess I feel like I've been like a campaign. So I was getting fired every day for that. And so, because I wanted to know the truth, I am a seeker of the truth. There was nothing. He had everyone believing you were jet setting around. It was not true.
And do you know how tiring and exhausting it is when you're going all these places?
Yeah.
And you going and you fighting, trying to bring things back home. And he's going to, make those kinds of accusations.
He did.
Those, or just tell those kind of lies. Let's just say.
Yeah. He's a good liar. And I think at that time, it's funny because we look how things are changed. God will take us, kind of like around to everything. I think at that time, your communications person was Candace.
Yeah.
And it's funny that
and so she knew the truth.
That's
like at that meeting, I said, Candace, you were there.
Yeah.
You know what happened.
I think you was about to get thrown out. That me. You was about to get put out.
Dare.
You was not. You was cat.
I was gonna dare him.
You said, "Let me."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Jasmine Stanley."
Yeah.
Jasmine, I think I threw out. Because she was on fire.
But they
Rita Stanley.
They bring it out in you.
Because
they don't care. They are in your face. I don't care if you know I'm lying. I don't care if you know I'm voting for money for myself. I don't care if you know I'm going to vote money for the community down. I don't care that you're not going to get any ARPA dollars. I don't care that pipes haven't been fixed. I don't care that W.T. Stevens has.
They still haven't been paid.
They don't care about any of that in this Black community.
No. But I think
in this community at large, they don't care about anybody.
Their own pocket.
Like when he said George Bush don't like no Black,
and
they don't like no people
at all. I think though, with what I remember the first time I had you and Jamaica over,
I remember.
And we spent we ate like 8. I cooked. I'm like, how do I make this right, Lord Jesus? Because maybe I was in a position to see something and to change and to put my feet on solid ground. And I made guacamole, homemade fried chicken, and we
just ate
and we talked. And so I think it created a bond, a sister bond.
That's
that we may not always agree, but if I go to jail, I know who I'm calling.
You can call me.
And right, and you go to jail, and we're gonna be there for each other. And
that's why she's my council person.
It's like, God, why didn't I wish I had known you like I know you now, way before him. I do,
because he's just a liar.
I wish I had known you to help fight for you, because I would have fought for what you. I felt your messaging wasn't getting out. I would have fought for
Well,
you.
it wasn't because at that they didn't want my message out because none of the media would carry the message. You know, I'm telling you, it was funny because I remember we let them know where the money went because Steve Branch, who was my at first he was my chief of staff and then he became my city administrator. You know, he's a computer person, and he figured that
Steve was
out.
detailed.
That's right. And when he got the report, we gave it to them. We gave it to them in August, and two people, AC Dumas and Tyra Hill, they were the only two
That covered it.
that covered it.
You gave it to me afterwards.
Uh-huh.
After you said,
Yeah.
no, Tonya, because I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
You
But
emailed it
because
to
I
me.
told you they didn't.
Yeah.
They came, the news came Channel 12 in August, and they said, well, we'll cover it in was it August or September? They said they would do it in a couple weeks because then it was going to be October. We said in a couple of weeks. They didn't cover it until that election night, January of the next year.
I remember that. I was getting fired every day then.
Yeah, that's
I
when, that's when the media aired it, when it didn't matter.
Yep.
When it
They did
didn't
it the third week in January.
Yeah.
It was the third week in January, and they interviewed then Senator Annan on that, and
Who talked about smoke and mirrors.
yeah,
Well, you know, but you didn't talk about smoke and mirrors when the smoke and mirrors was happening. And I do have a problem with politicians that once they get to where they are, then it's easy for them to tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, you could have told the truth a long time ago.
Right.
I'm not talking about just Jim Adams.
Just
They
a
could have
bunch of
told the truth
because
when the truth needed
that?
to be told. Somebody said, what do you wish you had known? I said, I would, you know, because I wasn't a team player. I said, no, I'm not a team player because I'm not going to tell people because they wanted me to stop talking about the water. I said, I'm a truth teller, not a team player.
Right.
I'm on the side of telling the truth because we need to know what's going on with us.
We do, but you never stop advocating. So, like I said, I wish I had have known you. I've had my experiences, maybe on a lower level, have really been identical to what yours were. It's hard. You don't want to. You keep going. I was not going to run for city council, but I really thought if everybody, you know, who cares leaves, what do we end up with?
Right.
And you never stop working.
Yeah.
You never stop working and telling the truth. People seek you out. We have to do better, and I learned that
we do.
I have to do better.
We have to do better.
And supporting, and I have a new thing, and I was on the way to, you know what, we getting some women. I think some of the Republican women, they are coming over now. They starting to, you know, like we got to stand together. Look, it wasn't what we thought.
Right.
No!
Right.
You know, but they showed up for Hasselbring.
Right.
It was like 10 of them.
And you know what?
And they showed up to speak at city council.
And they showed up at the county commissioners.
Yeah, that's where they.
And I'm gonna give Carol a shout out too because Carol is still there.
Yeah.
She ran for first ward.
Yeah.
And she's still there.
Still there.
In that fight.
Still there. And people try to dim her light and cast shade. And I want this to be clear with Hasselbring, with her and Stephanie, they paid to have, because Carol had to go to town, and they paid to have some men come move stuff and to help. So they paid people to do this, to make sure that they couldn't be there, but we're paying and sent people.
Right.
I think they're the ones who took the TVs off the walls and did other stuff. You know, one guy comes, look, we can break down this stage if you need to. And she was like, no, you can't do that. So when we look at what people do, and Carol shows up, she came over to Hasselbring for the meeting.
She's been at court.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's been at court and she take off work for it.
And
it's that important. She takes off
other
work.
People MIA.
Right.
They should be concerned about that.
Yeah. I mean, if it's in your heart or whatever, you're going to do it. I didn't just start in politics. I actually protested with my kids, went to Lansing several times, protested. There was some out in, I don't know, that Michael Moore when he came.
Oh, yeah.
That one was just, I had my little, well, he's now 19. He was there with
so
me that day.
Anymore.
No, he's not. He's no, he's going to University of Michigan, Flint. And he wants to be a cardiologist, and he loves wearing his little lab coat. You know, I'm like, do I need to get your name monogrammed on it, Christian? You know, because and he stays after to work in the lab and the tutor. You know, that is the brainy child. But I look at how my kids have all, you know, they grew up and their fight, and even, you know,
where they got it from.
They might get that one from their mama. And they told their daddies that they learned how to cuss from their mama. I'm like, y'all know how to cuss correctly.
That's right.
You know, look, the small proud moment, you know. But they do pray also, you know.
Small proud.
You know.
Yeah, I do know. I remember one time. I'm not even gonna say.
Oh, I remember that when we were out together.
And when she told me, when my child told me what she said, "Am I in trouble?" I said, "Girl, I'm so proud of you." I said, "Yep." She let them know. She let them know.
She did. I think
because I resent the mayor coming up trying to talk to my child, saying some things, and she let them know.
Well, he always tries to come afterwards to say, "Can I talk? We need to meet."
Right. I know he asked to meet with me.
But he asked to meet with you.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you?
Okay, it's okay. You all, it was been real. We'll see you another time. Thank you for tuning in. We were in a church.
Oh, you couldn't cuss.
Right. I was looking around to see if I could hear.
See, formed his mouth. Help me out with that. So he walks up to you, or what? What happened?
I was reading acknowledgments and resolutions. I said, "I got yours. Don't worry. I know how to do this. You know, I do know what I'm doing." Well, and then it was, and I'm like, "What? Are you still standing here? I mean, what do you want?" You know, and I'm in a church. There's people around, so I'm really, I'm trying to not draw any attention.
Right.
And that was the question. I don't know if it was a question. Maybe it was a proposal. I don't know what it was. Maybe we could meet sometime. Maybe we could get together and talk. I said, maybe we could. I just don't know when that would ever happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get to heaven, and you're on the fast track to hell.
And I'm looking around like, who's sitting behind? You're sitting here,
He actually had, was it the pure audacity to ask that? Strange fella.
But stranger things happen.
I mean, does he think it'll be some peace treaty? This will be like Ukraine and Putin. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It would be like, of course, you're the Ukraine, because president, and him being Putin, the lowdown. Want to steal everything from everybody, no rights.
Wish I would.
What did Rex say? Dr. Weaver, and Dr. Weaver.
He said, "It's too bad you were in church." He said, "Because I know
you had something to say."
He said, "It's too bad you were in church." I said, "I know." But Rex has something straight. So,
yeah.
So. What'd you say?
Look, Landon is just tickled.
What, Landon? He's a poop.
So
yeah,
that is funny. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I think that as we see 2026, I don't think he's going to be electable, because
what are you going to do, Tonya?
Look,
are you staying in the game? That's my question, because we do need your voice. Are you staying in? And that's a tough decision.
And you and I are going to have some talks.
Okay. Look, but I want guacamole. I want chicken. What? We had a good time.
We did, and we talked, and it was just us three, and it was unfiltered. And that's what I like to do. I don't like people in my home who I don't like. Yeah. Just like when you were running your campaign, you stopped by, give me a shout out Uncle Nearest. When I went to Tennessee, you said, bring me back some Uncle Nearest.
Bring me back some Uncle Nearest.
Yeah, and we talk, and that's, I don't know. Right now, even with council, I had a young man who showed up to council and spoke yesterday. His last name is Wallace.
Okay.
I went back there out my seat because I want to embrace young people coming in. It's not my job to stay in that seat forever.
Right.
I've done my job. I'm doing it to the best of my ability. I have economic development in my ward. I have fulfilled my promises. I'm still working on crime. I've got I've got apartments going up. Although people want houses, I'm still fighting for housing.
Yeah,
Longfellow's going to be developed. I've got that. Remember that we were making flyers and knocked on doors
Yes,
because
I remember.
with the in the 6th ward because they wouldn't tell them not to drink the water because of Legionella.
I told them about this yesterday
did
with those students from 2 days ago
Oh,
from
wow.
Northeastern University, and when I was at Duke, I was telling them about this.
Yeah,
and
we passed them out.
We sure
We
did.
passed those flyers out.
Yep.
And we did. I don't know who your partner was. I got Danielle Green was walking with me that day, but I don't remember. Arthur Woodson was there.
Who else?
And we walked and we looked because they had said don't drink the water.
Right.
Told the lady she had 0 chlorine residuals. And her next door neighbor, which was Stephanie Ryder's Clutching Your Pearls mother, had went to Genesis and diagnosed with Legionella.
That's right.
And the homes were next door.
And they wonder why we don't.
Right. And we don't trust the water or trust them.
Right.
And so finally I was able to I would literally summertime, Rob Benzick will call me and make sure that they would flush the hydrants because we have not been on a regular hydrant flushing since he was here underneath you.
I haven't seen that.
Now, Rob left in September 2020 underneath you. And so he told me, I was like, what does an automatic flusher look like? He said, go over it's in the 8th ward, Park Street, across where Don Williamson lives. He said, it's a yellow box. You need to get one of them. Go over there. So I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, well, Rob, what does it look like? And so I finally got an automatic flusher on the corner of Concord and Winona. And so that people to put a false demand on the system so that the water flows. People have asked me for sidewalks, for streets paved. I've done that.
And
I got the rat house torn down.
Our house today. They said you all got some terrible streets.
I turned yours in.
And
your side.
I'm gonna take you to some other streets in my ward.
You was walking one day, and you sent me the but every time you walk, you be like these streets.
I mean, because the guy I said, you know what, I don't know what the person that is the council person. They say that. Okay, Tonya, Councilwoman Burns, I'm gonna take you. I'm gonna take you on a little tour.
I need a little walking tour anyway.
I'm gonna take you on a tour so you can see. Because it
Mercedes lives down the street, so I've seen your streets.
And
in the back,
right?
That's bad.
It's terrible.
And that bridge, you look. You say a prayer when you go across that little bridge.
You bet. Don't go across it.
That bridge.
Don't drink the water and don't cross the bridge.
That bridge ain't had no repairs. Look like since I was in elementary, 1970 something, y'all. So that was a long time ago. That bridge.
And you have to laugh to keep from crying, really. That's what you have to do.
You do.
So let me ask you this. Is there something that I haven't asked you about? There's a lot I haven't asked you about, but
I'm pretty much like an open book. I mean, my life is really I know my life is really played out on I do my podcast so that people understand how government works. How it should work, what's the right way, what did we do wrong, what should be done. And it was funny, it's like our ethics and accountability board. The guy left last night giving the council 2 middle fingers. It was Judy's appointment, and he walked off. He got on the elevator, still giving us 2 middle fingers. I was like, he meant what he said. But he did. But he had made a post on his page that he didn't like her. She was the worst council person ever and does nothing for her ward. And so I asked him, and that was okay. He seemed to be truthful. Then Judy's like, oh, I blocked his wife too. I'm thinking, is this really your pick? You should be put on the ethics board. But then we have people are calling the ethics and unethical, and Councilwoman Winfrey Carter. Yeah, Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter called them the unethical and whatever else board.
Unaccountable.
All right, and unaccountable board. Because one thing to me, like even with the letter to stop our pay, I'm not doing this really part-time. I'm on my little coins. I'm doing, yeah, I could do this and do not this, do something else. And if,
and get paid
okay,
your about
listen, and if I went back to my business full time,
right,
that's what I would be making in a week.
right.
And so I do this because I want to see something better for this community and for the people
This
and for the
community
kids. It
something
deserves
better.
it.
You know, we
It
really
deserves
do.
it.
I mean, I'll start a whole nother conversation. I'm still mad about the ARPA dollars. I'm angry
Listen,
about that as well. And so are the people, and we should.
they should
'Cause
be.
nobody got help
Nope.
with that money that came in.
They got a $300 water credit, is what they say.
Okay, nobody got helped.
And your ward, they got about 18 roofs
Well,
and 20 houses painted. I'm just saying that's, out of $94.7 million. And so when we look at what they're doing, and I have to beg, and when you hear this person say, she doesn't care about food, she's, I just got Bethel. I took actually half of my ARPA award money to give to Bethel. I gave them 15,000 of my money to where I serve to give people food. And I will stand in that line and pass out food. And
you were in the line.
Listen. Now I will take my neighbor across the street. Yeah. Listen, now they got some good vegetables.
I'm talking about
the other one, right? The other one
that will vote
right.
For her award,
that part.
That and part. Then advertise food
for another community,
for another community
other than hers.
Other than hers, not even in the city of Flint. Okay.
Just crazy.
I'm just saying.
So I know Landon look he want to jump, but I do want to say this. When it comes to the food, I gave 15,000 of my money because I want to feed the people. I know the type of service. $1,000 feeds about that's their day's food, and it's a full truck. I've advocated to get them more money because they're out, and they will serve anywhere from 1,200 to 1,600 people per month. And then I put on for St. Mark because that is a populated area, and it's in a more poverty-stricken area where people don't have access to fresh foods, real foods, food insecurities. And so like they were giving away at St. Mark, I think sister, mother, Elder Napier, I just want to boss everybody around. God, I love her though. She was saying people was going to get like 10 pieces of meat, and meat is high. Eggs is high. And it's going to probably go up. So for me, I don't care what ward, as I told the individuals, past those two with St. Mark, feed everybody. But when she says, I don't care about communities, because you're talking loud, fast, and wrong. I want people and children, because they give milk, fresh milk, cereal, they give fruit, they give juice.
And we know those are the things that, help mitigate the lead too.
Yes.
People need
green leafy vegetables.
They need fresh produce. They need access.
They give eggplant, and I like eggplant.
And
squash. I love squash. Me too.
So, to say no it's just wrong.
I do want to say you got a few comments. First, there's been a lot of comments for Mayor Weaver. Now you got a lot of people saying when you gonna run again. And so just trying to get back to that. But one person asked, they said, can you run again? Then AC responded and said, why, yes, she can. And then that sparked a whole debate in the comment section. So they've already debated for you whether you should run for mayor again. So you might want to read that after the live. And then let me see.
Why is Dumas in my business?
Yeah, I was gonna say, because AC wondered when Miss Burns was getting married.
Okay.
Beverly Barnes said, AC trying to marry you off, Councilwoman Burns.
Maybe he wants to get married.
Yeah, look, and Kwana said, we all know who we talking about. Philip Johnson said, same thing happened with the settlement that happened with PTP.
Yep.
And they also said, AC said, well, I don't know if y'all want to be talking to Karen, but y'all might want to be talking to Rex for running in that spot next, just so you know. And
that part.
Philip said it got complicated. Nobody could figure out how to get it. And there was also a comment just saying that I'm trying to get back to it. In order to get In order for good folks to run, you have to get all the bad folks there out.
Yeah.
And that means the ones that'll be surrounding them once they're in. Lessons learned.
Who did that comment?
That was from Philip Johnson.
Yeah, he's always really he has a lot of insight.
Yeah.
And you see him on him and Melissa Zaremski were the first ones out.
Yeah.
But he always has some good insight, like a researcher. And so, and I like taking in from everybody in our community because we do have a community that is very diverse. We have a huge part, and a lot of us in my ward, Sunset Village. They're non-speaking, and we have a huge influx. So how do we make our community whole to where everyone is accepted? We've got that. We got work to do, and what you don't hear is a plan from this administration. But we do know they kicked the seniors out of Hasselbring.
There wasn't a plan.
No plan.
Their plan was just to come in and do what they want, damage and destruction.
Yeah.
And they're carrying that out very well.
Well, look at House Sylvester.
Right.
And so when we were talking, will it be easy for him to run again? The senior thing with separating the seniors, having two centers within a mile of each other,
exactly,
is not going to.
He likes to separate and divide
and conquer.
And that's what they, are experts at. How do we just keep dividing this community?
Right. But I think he has torn his
britches.
Yes. Oh, I like the word. Someone else used the word britches because people are really seeing it now. And people are saying, and some people don't talk. They're just they're watching, and everybody watching doesn't comment or click or,
but they're watching
and they see, and this is played out. The news has done a great job of putting the separation, the debacle with Hasselbring Senior Center out. They have, I will give this to
when they saw that video and you see somebody using the police, I said, they're going to be pulling out hoses and dogs on us next.
But that's not the first time he's used the police.
No, not at all.
He's used the police
city council. What are you talking
every
about?
council meeting.
Arrested.
Don't clap, don't cough, don't say
don't
amen.
Your eyes.
Don't do this.
Right.
Don't even you can't do this. Don't hold the sign, the protest.
Right there. On the other side, right there, my point of order sign. That's right. But I mean, you can't do anything.
No.
And that's supposed to be where the people have their voice.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to hear the people's voice.
I was passing out donuts, and Candace Machat was like, why is the councilwoman in the 6th ward passing out donuts? Is she a donut hostess? I'm like, you mind your own business. I don't eat donuts, but people bring donuts. And I passed them out to share. I like serving the community.
What's wrong with that?
Right. I like serving the community.
Right.
So then it calls me because she, then my pettiness, I was like, I started bringing, look, I was picking up donuts and asking people to pick up Beverly. It was like, well, I'm over this, I'll pick up the donuts. Because you have to be able to serve people.
And you need to feed people.
Absolutely. If they sitting there listening to our craziness,
for all that time.
Okay.
Landon, shut us down. We just stopped.
Landon,
it's true. It's true.
That's true.
And
I ain't used to, because I'll go on and on.
I don't know how you do it. I'm glad you do it though. I'm glad you are there. We need you there. And I'll be glad when this 3rd ward election, isn't it the 3rd ward election? Because that makes no sense that ward has gone unrepresented. I mean, what they did to you was terrible when they took you out of your seat for 30 days. You couldn't talk. Then they did it to Councilman Mays for 90 days. And the 3rd ward, shoot, it'll be.
And I'm not done with them yet.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, but you got to fight. And that, I fought for my seat and I showed up every time and every then they want to shut my voice down. They tried to take my First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
You don't get to take my First Amendment rights. I'm going to fight for my seat. I ran for my seat.
That's right.
And I still have people on some, she stole the race. No, y'all tried to rig the race and you rigging the race didn't work.
Right.
So they didn't steal enough votes. I'm still convinced on that.
Yeah. Because,
I'm still convinced.
Me too. So, Tonya, let me ask you this. So, with everything going on, what do you do to relax, have fun? because I mean,
yeah,
really, you gotta take care of yourself, and that's what we have to do. Because when you're a caregiver or caretaker, because
yeah.
public service, that's what you're doing.
I'm
What
not
do you
doing a
do?
good job of it right now. And that is the first thing to acknowledge. I know that I'm not.
So what's your plan?
And then that I'm gonna have to unplug. I do have a stalker now threatening to kill me and beat my A and all this other stuff, and calling Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter and calling Beverly Biggs. This person is calling my phone. I put them, they call when I do my show. But you and I have talked about this before. This is like the 5th time they threatened to hang me. You know, I'm gonna go to a necktie party,
and that's okay.
And the police have never found nobody. Come on, Chief Green, stop with the craziness.
Right.
Never found anybody, and told me it's not unusual that a detective has not contacted me about this. That was yesterday. So
Yet you showed up.
I showed up with no police escort, with threats,
Right, with no police.
with no police escort. And
so how come you can't get one? At least, how come you can't get one?
I don't know, but you know, I was told, you know, and I'm in prayer over this one because of asking God to protect me and put a hedge of protection around me, because we have an ordinance that the police chief is to give me an escort when there are real threats. I've had October the 14th, we had the conspiracy to incite a riot. They went home and made a videotape. They came and showed their behinds up in city council chambers, took it over. A gun was put out because they surrounded someone else. You know, I have had to have my seat and my life threatened consistently, and he still ain't charged anybody, gave a warrant. He got videotaped for days. He hasn't done anything. And now I'm angry. I'm very angry about it. I
was gonna say, well,
yeah,
we're gonna close, but we want you to see this. We want them to see that before we stop.
You're too old. Yeah, you're too old.
But they asked me, what would it take to get me a yes vote?
You was on Facebook talking shit too about my uncle. So you be quiet too. You gotta tell us to be equal. Don't pick sides. That's all I'm saying. Don't pick sides. Tell everybody to chill. Everybody is grown as hell. Y'all acting like big ass kids. That's all I'm saying. Everybody needs to chill. So say everybody, not just us.
And it's not. She done cussed everybody out. Everybody got a gun. Somebody got a gun. Somebody got a gun. Somebody up in here with a gun, they say. They say somebody in here with a gun. And we got one police officer.
They're no happy as hell. But they wanted us to talk. Yeah. They wanted me to talk. But they don't want me to talk. What they wanted you to say? Whatever I was gonna say. They didn't want me to say nothing. They wanted me to speak. They knew I was coming for. They knew I was going for her. And they knew I was going for Tonya. I wanted to continue. The other bitch that yeah, we shut it down. All the police. Look. One of the dudes in the chair was all looking. We was.
Now you know what?
So these are threats on my life. Chief Green has got cameras everywhere. He's done nothing. And there's I'm furious, and I move in a different way. I got to fight different things, but one thing, let me do my job.
Right.
And my kids, the hardest thing is to tell my kids and my parents, because my mother never wanted me to get involved. My dad said 25 million cuss words, you know, and they would all begin with the letter F, some of them, because he grew up with Papa Jerry. And so when I still showed up, and his remark to me was, well, if you get a ride, I guess I have to give one too. It's not funny to me.
It's not funny.
It's not funny.
And it's hurtful when you're trying to protect your family. Because I remember not taking my family to court. My kids were just angry because they wanted to go. That people were saying you don't have support. No, I'm trying to protect my kids because that would hurt me for them to hear
what's going on,
that kind of stuff. and it's not true. And I finally let Adrian come the last day. And but that's hard as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it's like I'd rather be hurt than you be
And
hurt.
them to them. And I don't think that they say, I remember you telling me about the person
Mhm.
you had at your window with a gun at your house.
Mhm.
And your husband, Dr. Weaver.
He, he likes guns too.
Right. Yeah. And so these are the things that people, you know, I've had people knock at my door to see, you know, I call it the college house. I've been in that house since my daughter. I bought it for her. I lived there. Everybody then dropped over, you know, and
That's right.
everybody and campaign, everybody was dropping. Let me get a shot.
That's
you know,
right.
no,
I'm tired.
right. Right. And my house, no matter where I live, people are
Yeah.
welcome. If you are my friend, if
Yeah.
you're not, keep on pushing, baby.
That's right.
But I remember sharing those stories with you because I've had them and you've had them to where you every little things you think you might hear, and do you really rest? Well, at night I sleep with my gun not under the pillow, on the other pillow.
Yeah.
I'm a damn good shot.
Yeah.
I've told my children, you know, you got the alarm code when you come in. There's cameras in my house, but if you know you need to call for you come.
Right.
Don't, and if I don't, you know. Don't just step up in there because I'm shooting first. Don't do that.
Don't surprise.
Don't do that.
But it means we need to keep you and really in our city lifted in
our
prayer.
prayer.
We really do. And so I guess I'll end with that. But I'm so glad you came in.
I was like, you know what? I
Because
told
we never
Stephanie and
just sat
Carol on my
and
way. I said, I'm getting ready to get some free therapy.
And look, and I was talking to Stephanie and Carol, and I was talking to Liz as I'm pulling in. She said, I'm getting off because I'm going to go watch you. I said, okay.
And shout out to Miss Elizabeth Taylor. But why would she text me at 2:00 in the morning?
Because you were up.
Right, and Beverly Lewis at the same time. They both were. Weren't you up? I was up.
Okay.
I was up.
See?
I love them.
That's why. That's why.
I love it.
I might start texting you. I'm up at that time. I might start texting you.
People call me at that time like it's nothing. Like, hey, what you doing? Hey, check this out. Hey, I'd be like, hey, what's up? You know. But I am going to be adjusting some things in my
but because you have
I'm tired.
and,
I am
and you
going to
can't serve
unplug
the people if you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
deserve to take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
And you know,
Underneath the auspice of I have real
right.
You know, and when I did my show, I've got the fool left a whole voicemail. I mean,
see, she should have brought us that.
I
Hey,
got that.
Tonya, are you coming
I
back?
got that. Anytime. Look, I got the voicemail.
Okay, she's gonna come back. We'll do a part 2. We'll do a part 2. See?
And I answer.
And that's why people call you, because you answer.
I answer because, and you know what? I think
Because you don't know what it might be.
I've had to get up out my bed
Yeah.
when there were bullets in the house, 3 children, and this far above a child's head, a bullet went through from the front to the back.
I
and
remember
couldn't
going
get
to that home with you.
Yep. Couldn't get the police to come.
I remember.
And called the Michigan State Post Commander then, and she sent the Michigan State Police. They sent the dogs out. I've been to so many homes
Right.
where we hear in the shootings that you can't sleep because somebody's coming after you, and you can't depend on the police.
Because let me ask you this. Okay, we're gonna stop. I know.
Right. Look,
Okay, we're gonna do part 2. But let me just say this before we go. Where do you live? In the 6th Ward, right?
I live in the 6th Ward.
Okay. Supposedly the mayor lives over there.
Yeah.
And the chief.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how many shootings they done had on their street?
You hear the guns, but they don't.
Chief has had 3 shootings on his street in the past 2 years, 3 or 4. I think one was a homicide. On the other end, the mayor has had 2 homicides, I believe. So, on my street, listen, they think they don't mess with the crazy councilwoman, okay?
But
the one that's out there talking
but
to
who
them.
brings us the news?
I
And
talk to them. I'm like, hey, Sean, what are you doing?
Right.
My daughter was like, Mom, you can't talk to them. I talk to these
Yeah.
young men because I know they need a mother
they
or
need
a hug, you know, and to talk.
Yeah.
And to change the direction of their life. How can I help you? Like the young man there last night, he told me when I hugged him, he needed a hug. He called me today. He said, I'm gonna be there Monday. And I listened to him, and we got to start listening to the young people.
And that's why it's important to be out in the community. I
Yes.
spend a lot of time out in the community.
You do.
You want to hear what they.
But people love seeing you out there. You can't go nowhere without them not knowing you.
You can't either. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. We're gonna do a part 2. Happy, you uplift women. This is Women's Month.
Yes.
And Black women matter, but uplift women.
Yes.
And thank you. We're gonna lift you up because we do. We thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. You may not
Thank
know
you.
it when you're in those council chambers. Sometimes when you have to deal with yesterday's behavior and those other kinds of things, but people are watching and people appreciate you. So
Thank
you
you.
need to know.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next time.